Hello, hello. Let's see if this stream has started. All right, I think it's working. I earlier today streamed modeling this little sheep guy. Let me mute this. Okay. And I was really inspired by this game, Wattam, which has these cute characters, super stylized. And we just played around and made this sheep guy, but I'm still feel like we didn't hit this look. So I want to take a second stab and see if we can get a little bit more graphic, a little more cartoony. And when I was just looking at these, I basically went into Blender a minute ago and I created a new shader. It's pretty simple. It basically just takes the light from a diffuse BSDF, and then with that lighting I basically use whatever color I want to color it. So I could take, let's say, this color. And I think that's a much closer look to what Wattam actually has. I also have ambient occlusion, which helps. When it's dark like this, it's a little hard to see, but we can get like a lighter green in there. I think this shader will be a bit better. It'll be much flatter as well. So I was also thinking about this Wattam thing, and you know, another thing that's different is instead of using 3D geometry for the face, they have these decals that they use, these just black and alpha decals. And it reminded me a lot of this Game & Watch, like these old Nintendo handheld games. So I was gonna see if I could play with that a bit. I was actually gonna make a character that looks like a Game & Watch. So I only have 30 minutes, but I thought it'd be fun to try this out again. Let's do this. And I'm gonna use one of these as reference. I guess they're all the same. This is probably, I guess this one's a, yeah, let's just use this one. Oh, I guess I can just look at it over here. So I'm gonna go into layout, gonna delete this. Oh, I also added this little thing on the bottom left so you can actually see what keys I'm doing. Someone asked me to add that before. And I'll just do the base of the body. I think something like that is good. I'm gonna just quickly lay out what these buttons could look like. And then we'll start playing with materials and get the face in there. We want 3 little buttons as well. I should probably just download this image, and I don't think I can just drag into Blender. That'd be cool. Okay, so we're gonna have 3 buttons. I'm just kind of quickly laying it out for proportions and understanding. And then I think we'll be able to go without the reference. So we're gonna have a border, we're gonna have some markings, and then the centerpiece is the screen, which is where we'll do the face. And I guess these markings also have some insets as well as here. All right. So So let's start with that tune material. I'm actually going to duplicate it and call this buttons. And we know we want some sort of red. And if you're watching this and you know Blender better than me, feel free to tell me how I can improve my workflow. I only switched to Blender maybe 2 months ago. And, you know, to be honest, it doesn't really need to be perfect. I'm trying to go for something that feels kind of graphic, and it doesn't have to be true to life exactly to how this one was. And I think to do like these insets and edges, the edges I'll just do a bevel, but the insets I'm going to actually do like a little boolean, like really shallow, really short, but at least they'll let us color it how we like. And it won't let it will allow me to not actually like cut the geometry myself. So this will be the boolean. I should actually start to name some of these. Body. Let's see. I think F2 is renaming. So button left, button right. And I'm also new to this streaming thing, so if you see anything I can improve. One thing I haven't figured out is how to like see the chat window without toggling over here. Okay, so these are the smaller buttons. Button small. And these are so basic still, I'll just delete them. Alright, and then this one will be, I'll delete this also. And I'll duplicate this, scale it up just a little. We'll call it button left cutout. And then with the body, haven't done booleans in a while, but one thing, boolean cutout here. And one thing that's weird, like in Cinema 4D, you just do a boolean and it works and shows you the result, but in Blender, I actually have to hide this object that we're using for the cutting, which is a little annoying to be honest. Because if I want to move it around, I need to unhide it and then hide it again when I don't want to see it. Okay. So we have a little bit of a cutout, so we're going to eventually shade that a different color. And I'm going to move this cutout over there as well. Let's see if I can snap it over there. Snap to, I'd like to think volume would work. It's not snapping. Let's also rename this to button right cutout. And it looks almost perfect to be honest, so I'm gonna just let it be there. Then I'll hide my two cutouts. I need to add the cutout also for the body. So we're gonna add another boolean and do button right cutout. There we go. It might be a little hard to see in the stream, but there's a slight cutout there which we're gonna color later. And then for the body, we're also gonna basically just take all the edges and we're gonna do Control B for bevel. And this was also like a big annoyance with Blender at first. You see it's not beveling uniformly, because when you scale an object, it actually scales over here. So you have to hit sorry, I'm in edit mode. I need to go to object mode and then click Control A, and then I'll apply it to the scale, which basically sets it as 111, and I can go ahead and do Control B, and now I have a nice even bevel. Now if I'm going to be true to the Game & Watch things, or handhelds, there wouldn't really be much of many subdivisions in the bevel. So I'm going to kind of just keep it like that. And it is a little thin for my liking, so I'm going to also just make it a little bit wider. This thing's going to eventually have legs and arms, so I need to leave room for that to exist. Okay. The other big thing would be to add the screen. So on the front face here, I'm going to just do an inset. Oh, let me turn this off. Something like that. I think we can even extrude it and then maybe even do a smaller. Smaller inset. I think something like that will be cool. Then let's do these buttons. I'm going to look at the reference one more time. So I'm going to basically just take these edges and bevel that. Again, I have the same kind of scale issue, so I'm going to go back to object mode, hit Control A, normalize the scale, go back to edit, Control B for the bevel, and then bump up the subdivision. Something like that. And I think just for fun, I'm going to also subdivide this just a little bit so it feels like you kind of want to press it a little bit more than just a hard edge. Let's delete these. And this thing I'm going to also have to do the Boolean for, make a slightly bigger one and Boolean it. Something like that is pretty cool. So let's just duplicate this and scale it. Let's see how it's looking. All right. I think that'll be pretty good. Oops, meant to do F2. We'll call this button secondary cutout. And again, on the body, we're going to add another Boolean. And secondary cutout. Again, we'll hide it. Let's make sure everything looks good. It's way too deep. So I'm going to just go over here. I think we want it to be barely cut out. That even might be too much. Part of it is the AO also, which is making it look a little deeper than it is. Where is it? Oh God. There we go. Let's I think something like that is probably a little better. Alright, great. So I think we just duplicate this 3 times. If we want, we could have made that math in between them perfect, but again, this is just playing around. I don't think it needs to be perfect right now. And we're going to add 2 more booleans. Alright, great. I actually think it's a little weird to have it so tight here, so I'm going to actually move all of these over. We might need to move them a little bit in again. Okay. There we go. So now I think we just need to add some of the decals. We want to round this button. So on the bottom of the screen it actually says the exact width. So I can also type something. So like for instance I could type point, what do I want? I think let's say 0.1 for instance, because then I can just do the exact same thing here. Alright, so we have the red buttons. I'm going to duplicate this for the body of the console. I'm going to make it white. Switch this back to the button color. And then on here, we also want to do something like this. I think we got it, yeah. So I'm going to switch this to, oops, did not mean to do that. We want the body color there. I'm actually going to go into buttons, duplicate it. We'll call this like body accent. And we'll switch the whole body back to that. We'll add a second material called body accent. And we're going to assign that material there. And I just want to make it a little bit darker than the actual buttons. And for our cutouts, we also want to assign that same material, body accent. Yeah, that's one thing I haven't figured out in Blender, how to assign one material to multiple meshes. I'm sure you can do it, but it's not how you'd intuitively think it should work. And then this screen should also have a material. Oh, I did not assign it, so let's go back here, assign. Okay, it's starting to look kind of cool, I think. The bevel here isn't very noticeable, so I'm thinking also of pulling that out a little bit. Ooh, I keep flipping it upside down. It's kind of interesting, but okay. I'll keep it like this. I think we can play with the shader later to get that a little bit more visible. And we also need to take the bigger button cutouts and make those the accent color. Accent, accent, and then hide them. Actually, I think the accent color needs to be a bit darker. I also want the button ones to be a little smaller so they feel like they're the same size as the small ones. And this one I do think, I know there's a way to do this where you scale two things independently on their local origin. Let's see. Could look up a tutorial, but let's do 0.1. Just doing a little trial and error here. So I think 0.95. That's a lot closer to where I want it. I'm also going to just check this in case there's any comments. We got 1 or 2 people watching. Why, hello. Alright. So, I want to finish this up super quick. Like we did with the sheep, I'm going to just do the cylinder for the legs. We'll smooth it, auto smooth. Then you get the hard edges at the top. And I think we need to mirror this. Oh yeah, last time I had the same problem with mirroring a cylinder, which just seems so weird. I need to look up why cylinders don't seem to mirror for me. But I could just do the same thing with a cube. Now we have it as a cylinder. I mean, a cylinder would be slightly better because you do get a little bit of some squaring around the edges, which you could also fix yourself. But ideally just mirroring a cylinder would have been way better. I'm going to look it up right after this stream. I think we can just use the accent color. Might want to get a little darker. Legs, arms. I think that's pretty nice. You notice there is a Fresnel on this. We can tweak that if we think it's too intense. Mirror also seems to not be working on the cube. I'm so confused why this could be happening. Just testing here, see if I can get mirror to work at all. Mirror. If anyone is watching and knows why this is not mirrored. I'm gonna just search for this. Blender 2.8, mirror not working. The mirror modifiers around the origin, yep. So I know all this. I just Control Alt Shift mirror can specify a mirror object. I mean, the origin's right here. It should be mirrored along that. Okay, well, I guess for now, I'll do it the old-fashioned way. And just along the y-axis. Yeah, that's one cool thing in Blender. You can just click minus and it inverts it. Inverts the value. We're going to do the same Wattam inspired simple feet and hands. So economical if you're making a ton of characters. I feel like this should be a little bit bigger. 1.5? No. 1.2. I think that's better. Just matching up the origin points now, just eyeballing it. Alright, so I think all we need is some decals, some shader fixing, and also the face. A few ways to do that. I think I might just do another plane on top. I mean, if I was using this for a game, I would definitely bake it into one texture map and do the whole UV coordinate thing. But I think because we're just trying to see if we can get that style, this will be fine for now. We'll call this decal face. And we need to go into blend properties, alpha blend. Okay. I'm going to go into UV editing. I'm going to click U, and I'm going to do frontal, where is it? Project from view. Actually, I want to project from view. No. Yeah, I want to keep the aspect ratio. So then I can just paint straight here or here, and there won't be any sort of distortion. Alright, so now I want to go into texture painting. Another reason why I love Blender. With Cinema 4D, they have this thing called body paint, but it doesn't work close to as well. I'm gonna just do 2048 texture. Let's call this face. We want to have, let's do the background just straight transparent. I'm going to click OK. So here's the preview of our texture. I'm going to just save it so we have it. Call it face, and it's showing up pink or magenta over here because it's not actually set in a material. So the image texture face. And now we should be able to just paint on it. And just to get it working, I'm also going to make sure the blending is working. Shadow mode, we don't need any. Alpha blend should be what we want. I think we're going to have to go into the shading here. See if we do the alpha there, it starts to appear. It is linear. It is a little less bright than I would have hoped. Let's see what's going on. Oh, because I think we're not trying with full opacity. Still is just slightly less. Okay, let's see. Strength is 1. Spacing, let's just lower that. Fall off. I want just linear. Which is a little slower. I do notice it's not perfectly opaque. If I do a few strokes, it becomes opaque. With the strength 1, I would imagine it would just be opaque. Add, let's see, what else can we do? I think mix is what we want. Okay, let's go back to the shading. I think we also, I would hope the index of refraction doesn't do anything here. Transmission. Just seeing if these values do anything. I think the main thing is the alpha isn't perfectly clear. Otherwise, I think it would be perfect. So, I think we should just, might just have to draw over it a few times to start. I'm also trying to remember how to erase in Blender. Did not mean to do that. I just filled it with a white texture, or white paint. Oh, it's because I have pressure sensitivity on. Okay. So now you should do mix, and now it should be solid. Still a little bit, to be honest. And this is set up correct. Oh wait, why is this? Okay. Okay, now it's how we'd like it. Okay, great. Now I just need to figure out how to erase this. I mean, the simplest way is just like create a new texture. We'll call it face. We'll just call it face. And then this time I'll save over the previous face we had. And just check also there's no comments. Okay. So let's see. So now let's paint a face. And again, I don't want to straight up copy anything, but I am looking at kind of referencing the simple designs. think there is a similarity to it where things aren't always connected, but they're always rounded somehow. I think we smooth it also could be good. Thinking I should also see if I can mirror this as well. I guess I want to mirror it in the Y. See what that looks like. I mean, it's kind of cute, but I don't think that's exactly what we want. Face 1. Okay. Let's do the mirroring again. Let's smooth stroke. All right. I wonder if they all have noses. Yeah, they all have this funny, like, wishbone styled nose. Eraser tool for texture painting. If you know where it is, let me know. Oh, eraser tool. Mask, fill, clone, smear, soften. Yeah, I'm not, maybe there's eraser. Yeah, I'm not sure. Okay, so let's do the eyeballs, and we'll do, and I don't want to steal their nose, so maybe we need to have a nose. Yeah, maybe something like that will be nice. It's kind of weird, but this is kind of a weird character. Okay. So I think the only issue is it's not really centered. So I'm going to go to UV edit. I'm going to just move this a little bit. I think that's pretty fun. Kind of want eyebrows on this guy too. Texture paint. We'll do smooth. We'll do mirrored. I want to get the size to be about the same also. Okay. We can always remove the eyebrows later if we think it's too much. All right. I think we now just need kind of like some decals and stuff over here. I'm going to actually do some text. Center. Let's just center everything, and then let's make the text black. Maybe some, I guess to match the style, we'll keep it all flat. Select. pause. Like select is actually a weird one. We should make this one pause. All right. I think now it just comes down to tweaking the render and putting them in a little environment. I think we'll just start with start with cylinder. Uh-oh. Oh, I moved the origin. Let's see if we can move it back. Origin. Snap cursor to world origin. Clear origin. Origin, set origin, geometry to origin, origin to geometry. Oh, that's my 3D cursor. Okay. Sorry guys, 3D cursor. Okay, whatever. I think it doesn't really matter where my 3D cursor is. That's like another thing in Blender that always seemed a little weird to me. I think we're gonna put them on a pedestal. Did I delete the platform's right there? Okay. Something like that. We can snap it later. Again, because I'm just quickly doing this. I don't think it needs to be perfect. Okay. And then we kind of want to have some sort of background color. Trying to remember how to change the world color as well. Oh, because this is the viewport rather than the... Is that right? Let's see what's going on here. Okay. Oh, is it because we're using this thing? Okay. I'm gonna go back. And do we even have a light in this scene? I don't think so. One thing I don't like about point lights is those little highlights, so I'm gonna actually switch it to an area light. And for the sunlight, I guess for the, I basically want this shadow to be less intense. So I think for that I'm gonna just make kind of a floor material here. And then turn on some emission. It'll be much more subtle. This guy's pretty weird. I am looking for shadows to up the quality here. Yeah, because that the top of the rim before was looking a little bad. All right. Now, why is this? There's this weird highlight here. Maybe it's... Let's go back into shading. Objects. I think for the... It's kind of cool too. I think for the body, let's try the principled shader. And then at least we can see those edges a bit. We can lower the shadows if we want, just with some emission. Okay. Oh. I think these could be bold. Font. I guess that's one other thing that's a bit challenging. I need to have a bunch of fonts ready to import. What do we want to call this guy? Mr. Let's see if anyone has ideas. Is in the link above. I don't see a link, unfortunately. Eraser tool for texture painting. I'll look at it. I'll look it up later for sure, though. And thanks for trying to help. We'll call him. Let's see what these references have. Maybe just for fun, we'll call it face and buttons. Do like they kind of have it all in one block, and we could make a logo in Illustrator and then put it on. Maybe we'll do that. I do have to go very soon. Left, right, okay. Mesh cube. Oh, sorry about that. We'll delete these vertices, fill that, and then fill this. And then we just want to rotate it 45. Oh, rotate 45. You know, I was only planning to stream for 30 minutes and then it always ends up taking a little more time. I think it's turned out kind of cool. Okay. I think maybe I'll kind of left align it to the button there. R180. Left align it to the button. I think I could, just to show you if you're interested, I think I could actually left align it, but then the origin would need to be in the right place. And I am not sure where the origin is right now. So we'll just eyeball it right now. Cool. So I think the only thing we're really missing is the logo here. I guess we might as well write the word ball. I assume it's the type of game that they're playing. It's kind of funny. Feels kind of random. Ball. Great. And I guess this font needs to be a little smaller. Yeah, honestly, to clean this up a little bit, I think I'm gonna have to dig through some fonts and just, I think the defaults to Arial or something, or B font, I guess it's Blender's font, which isn't the best. And then we just want to slap a little logo there. Oh, thanks for tuning in, Cesar. It's kind of fun to do this type of thing. Yeah, so I need to add the logo, update the fonts, and I think just like add a background of some sort. I mean, for now we could just do a plain, I think. Oh, trying to rotate it 90 degrees. Okay. We'll do 1920. And we'll call it Mr. Or what would we have before? Face and watch. And then in Illustrator, I actually can just use any of my fonts. I think something like that's kind of cool. I think it's a little too bold if you compare it to all the others, or the other fonts that I'm using. But hopefully I can update those as well. Something like that. We can expand. And then if we want, we could do like some silly stuff, or at least match that angle with A. It's kind of weird. I mean, this whole this whole idea is pretty weird, so maybe it doesn't matter. Okay, maybe we do something like that. I kind of wonder if the F was aligned with the A. I'm just eyeballing to see if it would work at all. I guess I'd have to do this too. I mean, honestly, I don't think it matters. I think this is... I don't even need that. Okay, I think that's good enough. I'll make this 10 points. Okay. File, export. Sorry, I'm gonna make this canvas. I think we wanted square because ultimately we want to use a square texture for 3D. So let's just do 1000 by 1000. I think that just barely fits miraculously. I mean, this typeface is horrendous, to be honest. But this isn't going to be my masterpiece, so I should just move on. Export for... This is the one I never know. No. Export as... Use artboard, PNG, and we want this in my everydays. This is kind of my notebook, where I just make things that aren't real projects. Face... actually, we'll call it logo decal. Transparent 72, that's good. We'll throw the decal face, duplicate that texture, and then we're going to load in the logo decal, rotate it, and I think there are better ways to project decals in Blender. I just haven't actually done it before, but I've seen the tutorials and it looks pretty cool. Where is... There we go. Let's do inside stroke here, and I think we need at least double what we had before. Okay. was kind of fun. Alright, I think the only thing to do is update the fonts, like find a font on my computer that I like better and update that. Might just add a little bit of detailing in the background. The difficult part with rendering him is he looks very flat, so to like enjoy the dimensionality of it, you kind of want to wiggle around a little. And yeah, if I rigged and animated those legs and arms, it could be really cool too. I think I'm going to end the stream here. I have to take a break, and I'll probably finish this up and just post it online later tonight. Hope you enjoyed. Thanks for tuning in. Oh, let's see. Is it possible to use SVG for the logo in Blender? Yeah, actually, SVGs import great into Blender, so I could have done that and then had the geometry extruded. Yeah, I've done that before, and it's really, really helpful for creating different types of geometries. Yeah, I think this one's so I'm not really using it for anything, so I don't actually need the geo. But that's a good idea too. Cool. Well, that's all for tonight. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you have a good Wednesday night. Talk to you. Bye.